My name is Garrett Weinstein, and I'm the founder of TravelEZ. And TravelEZ can be thought of as basically TripAdvisor, but focused on accessibility to help the millions of Americans with mobility limitations find accessible venues and experiences. But rather than taking this time to re-rehearse all the stats and all the figures around TravelEZ that you already saw in the video, I'm just going to tell a quick story to try to paint the picture here. So I live in New York City, and whenever I'm walking around the street and I see a wheelchair user, I go out of my way to introduce myself and the TravelEZ concept to them. And this is almost always met with huge enthusiasm. We share feedback, and this is actually how I've gotten a number of my beta users. And so recently I did the same thing when I noticed an elderly wheelchair user and his caregiver in New York. And it turns out that the wheelchair user was a world-renowned painter named Chuck Close. And it turns out Chuck Close, I didn't know at the time, is one of the most influential painters. His works are throughout the MoMA and throughout the world. And he and his caregiver confided in me that Chuck, despite being a longtime New Yorker, now only goes to the same 5 to 10 restaurants in the city because of accessibility obstacles. And this is, of course, even worse when they're traveling, trying to choose hotels or restaurants in foreign cities. And the fundamental problem here is that Chuck feels like his world has completely shrunk. He doesn't have the confidence to explore anymore. And TravelEZ is exactly the type of resource that would completely reopen Chuck's world. So just imagine if somebody with so many relative advantages and a full-time caregiver is experiencing this problem this deeply. Imagine how deeply this problem strikes the tens of millions of other Americans with limited mobility throughout the country. So with the funding from this competition, TravelEZ will be enabled to launch in Boston to impact thousands of locals and visitors and local businesses, and then to position TravelEZ to scale and bring this resource to millions of people across the country.